In the race for the White House, Democrat Bernie Sanders facing a long climb to catch up, if you look at the polls, to the frontrunner Hillary Clinton. Here's the latest CNN poll. Clinton is 14 percentage points ahead of Sanders. Among Democrats asked to name their choice at this point for the 2016 nominee, Clinton 50%, Sanders 36%, former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley trailing at 3%. Bernie Sanders press secretary Symone Sanders back with me here to talk about their plans and much more. Appreciate you coming on the program again. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Poppy. I'm glad to be here.
All right, well, let's talk about the fact that you look at a Bernie Sanders, and for his supporters, he represents the heart and the soul of the left. But he loses to Hillary Clinton by every measure in this CNN ORC poll, including those Democratic voters who they trust to handle the economy. Let's put everything else aside, Symone, for a moment. This is what he launched his campaign on: the economy, the economy, the economy, income inequality, and fairness. What are you going to do to get his 39% on the economy up past Clinton's 47%?
Well, Poppy, we are going to continue to take our message across America and meet these voters where they are. I mean, I'd like to note that, yes, Secretary Clinton is at 50%, but that is an 8-point drop from when this poll was last conducted a month ago. Meanwhile, Senator Sanders has almost cut Secretary Clinton's lead in half. So we're feeling good about this poll. This is showing momentum. And, you know, voters out there know that Senator Sanders has built his life, his career on advocating for hard-working families, and he is the only candidate out there that's going to take on this rigged economy that's kept in place by a system of corrupt campaign finance. So what we're going to do is continue to take that message across America, and, you know, we've still got time. Polls go up and down, and we're confident that we're going to see those numbers change.
All right, so let's talk about overall electability, right, and viability in a general election. If he makes it to the general, he definitely, his supporters would say, embodies the fervor of the left. There also seems to be, though, Symone, when you look at some of these numbers, a bit of a hesitation about his overall electability. Do you think that he has failed in any way to make the case to Democrats that want to love him, that he is viable in terms of being elected in a general election when so much focus right now, as you know, is on the terror threat?
You know what, Poppy? No, I don't think so at all. Look, when you match up Senator Sanders with any of the Republicans on the other side, he does better than Secretary Clinton against all of them. Take Donald Trump, for instance. In the Quinnipiac poll that was released last Tuesday, I do believe, Senator Sanders beats Donald Trump by 13 points. If that margin is held going into the general election, I think there was a reporter at the Hill newspaper that said this will not only, you know, help elect Senator Sanders and help the Democrats keep the White House, it can help the Democrats take back the Senate and potentially the House of Representatives as well. So in all of these, if you look at any poll, these general election matchups, Senator Sanders does better. He is beating these Republicans, and that goes straight to the issue of electability.
Let me mention one poll from the CNN poll this week on favorability. You've got, among all voters, you've got a 47% favorability rating for Sanders. Among Democrats, you have a 74% favorability rating. Voters part of it. Let's move on to something else, because, Symone, I mean, you joined this campaign after being very active in the Black Lives Matter movement, and you joined the campaign months ago. I know this is an area of focus for you and the campaign, galvanizing the African American vote behind Sanders. If you look at the most recent Washington Post ABC polls, they show that Sanders trails Clinton among African American voters 71% to 19%. What are you doing to change that?
Well, Poppy, we are going out and we're meeting people where they are. In the African-American community, we are in the barbershops, the beauty shops, and the Bible studies. We are actively holding conference calls because, you know, Senator Sanders' name ID is lower in African-American and Latino communities. He was not as well known as Secretary Clinton. So we have to do some voter education, and we're actively doing that. I think if you look closer at the CNN ORC poll, you'll see that in the same poll that was conducted in April, Senator Sanders was polling polling at 1% with non-white voters. When this poll just came out, he's now polling at 32%. And so that's a significant jump for someone whose name ID was particularly low, and we're looking to see those numbers climb. I think it's really important that we can connect our message to African American and Latino voters. Yes, African American voters, they care about criminal justice reform. They care about ending the disgrace that is the mass incarceration of African Americans, but they also care about economic inequality. You know, they want to know how you're going to help put more money in their pockets. How are we going to help close the wealth gap? They want to know, you know, what are we going to do? Are we raising the minimum wage? And these are all things Senator Sanders is very strong on. You know, 54% of African Americans stand to get a wage increase under Senator Sanders' plan to raise the minimum wage to $15. On the Latino voter front, same deal. You know, Latino voters, they do care about immigration, but they also care about economic inequality and education. So we are definitely making those points.
We saw 14 states in 2015, states and cities raise their minimum wage to $15 an hour. To have it happen on a federal level, though, it is a big battle in Congress. We'll talk a lot about that in the next hour. Before I let you go, let's talk about the money, all right? So your campaign came out this week, and Sanders touted the fact that he says the campaign has received 2.3 million individual contributions. He says that's more than President Obama had at the same time in the 2008, 2012 campaigns. I should note CNN can't independently confirm that until the Federal Election Commission's reports come out, and those are going to come out not too long, a few weeks. But given that, you look at the number, 2.3 million individual donors. It's a big number.
2.3 contributions. So our donor number isn't that high, but we've had 2.3 million contributions.
2.3 million contributions. Thank you for the correction. But when you compare the numbers, the total amount raised, you've got 40 million for Sanders and 77 million for Clinton. Are you arguing that the number of contributions is more important fundamentally than the overall total number?
I mean, Poppy, I think the number of contributions goes to how many people think enough of a candidate to pull their hard-earned money out of their pocket and put it towards his campaign. Look, we don't have a super PAC. We don't want a super PAC. Our average contribution is $23, and I think we're doing well. Over 2.3 million contributions to our campaign mean that Americans all across the country have decided to dig into their pockets and help fund the political revolution. I think the number is less than 170 of our donors have maxed out. So we still have a long way to go with folks that can continue giving to our campaign. And this is going to help us be strong all the way through the convention. So I do think it's important, the number of contributions to a campaign, because this is a movement. This is individual people. These are very excited about that. We are galvanizing support all across the country, and we're going to continue to do the work necessary to reach out to voters all across the country.
All right, we will be watching and, as you know, following every step of all of the campaigns. Symone Sanders, happy holidays, and thank you for being with me.
Happy holidays, Poppy. Talk to you soon.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.